kicked myself out, and then clearly me and Love were trying to get me back on stage at the same time.
What's going on? You have a new studio, I see.
Oh, girl, listen, my camera doesn't come. You have to like click it into the dock to have it balance on the laptop, and that thing did not make it into the suitcase somehow.
Mm,
So my camera is like balancing on a water bottle, and I had to like finagle the wire so that it wouldn't like shift to the left and the right.
okay, as long as you're not wearing like pajama bottoms or anything like that, I think
I did
we'll
have
be
to remind
good.
myself to put pants on
Oh
because
my goodness.
I
Not the
just
pandemic all over again.
I was remembering when I was putting my pants on that I used to work for an HR team, and we were talking about heat in San Francisco because it never happens. And I was like, listen, when it gets hot, the first thing I do when I get home is take my pants off. And this is like in front of my chief people officer. And as soon as I said it, I was like, that probably didn't come out right.
Mm,
It's not like, it's a pants off, dance off. It's just like I gotta put shorts on.
yeah. Or
TMI?
your mini skirt.
Or my skirts.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing, Sharday?
I'm doing okay. I am excited about tomorrow being Friday.
Indeed.
Um, it has been a very, very, very popping week for noir.
Ooh,
Very surprising, but I thank the Lord up above. So I'm super like grateful for like the momentum that just popped out of nowhere. Um, and like a girl's been busy. A girl's been busy,
let's go.
surprisingly.
Let's go.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's so great. Can you tell us any more? You don't have to.
Right now, I like to,
Yeah.
zip the lips, believe it or not. I do zip my lips from time to time.
Sharday, I know that a lot of Tauruses don't like to talk about astrology, and because y'all are just so grounded. It's like, let's just get to the earth. Okay, enough of this space talk. I lost my train of thought.
Me and astrology not going together.
Oh yeah. No, I totally forgot. Well, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I just came off a red eye, so we're gonna be buffering today, I think, at some points.
Well,
Um,
listen, I think even though you just came off a red eye, you look great, you're glowing. I know you are in the dirty South right now.
yes. Dallas.
Um,
Would we call Dallas the dirty South? Love, can you she gone.
mm,
She went to grab something. But yeah, I'm in
yeah,
Dallas.
South, one of the largest states in this. Or you gonna say that's the what? What are you gonna say? Midwest? That's
I
South.
feel like people are just like, it's Texas. Like, don't put us in a box. It's just Tejas.
It's the dirty South.
Sure.
It's,
But
you
I gotta go
know,
out today, find a thrift store, something to get some cowboy boots, because this conference I'm going to, of course, the parties are all cowboy Western themed. And all of my boots are in storage at the moment. And my
mm,
hats are in storage. So I'm like, what do I gotta find some boots?
okay.
Something.
Well, hopefully you luck out. Um,
Yeah. Before let's hold on. We
mm,
have a ton of stuff to talk about today. And I'm so as much as I love having guests on the show, I also just love hanging out with you and talking about all the stuff that we get to talk about because I realize how
yay.
much knowledge you have. And you just sent me a text, I think this morning, that you're officially coming to Martha's.
Yes, darling. I'm gonna be in Martha's Vineyard. And I can't wait. I can't wait. So
Have you packed all your
I'll be
linen,
talking
darling?
like this. Darling, darling, darling. Yes, absolutely.
And you have your
You know,
espadrilles.
mm, I'll have everything there. Um, seriously though, like Noir will be activating on the vineyard.
And as
Okay.
long as I can get into wherever you're going and hand out whatever you need me to hand out, just let me know. I can drive you there. I like to drive on Martha's, be the driver.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because, the Martha's Vineyard budget is quite expensive.
Tight.
Hmm.
It is for the fancy, for the bougie.
Yes, yes, darling. So
Yes.
I would love to be that driving Miss Daisy. I'll be Daisy, and
Indeed. I'll be
we'll take
Jinx.
it from there. But sincerely, super excited because all of my beautiful people are going to be on the vineyard next month, and
Hmm.
so will I. And it's something that I always wanted to do and never thought I would be doing it in support of myself.
Look at
But
you
here we
go,
are,
girl.
you
Look
know?
at you go. And that is like all the momentum you're talking about. Watch this. Watch what I'm about to do. Watch this, folks. Is all from your community. See what I did there?
I
Me and
love the
Charnay be preparing,
transition.
folks. Not for long, but we be preparing. And like that is and going to Martha's, it's all about like building that community, building those relationships. And the thing that's fascinating always to me about Martha's is we all Black. We're all in business. Everyone's fundraising. Everyone is like talking about their ventures. Some people are really just there with their families, but the sense of community is so unique just in general, and it just has me thinking about our topic today, which is all about community and the wealth that comes from the community. And
Mhm.
I'm just so excited for you to experience the wealth that comes from having time on Martha's Vineyard. Ooh, ooh.
Isn't God the greatest?
Indeed,
You know,
indeed.
you can't count people out because look what happens. But hey, here's the thing. When you think about community, in
Mhm,
particular, MV and
mhm.
what's happening, we also need to talk about all of the conversation around the community kind of expanding. What once was a very, very private, if you know, you know situation, has now become a bit more inclusive.
Yes.
And I think that's worth, a little bit of a nod today as well.
Yeah. I don't think it was I agree with you, and I would say that it wasn't always meant to be exclusive, but it has become that way over the years because it is so expensive. And I know that my first year when I went there, I felt a little bit like an outsider in some moments because I would hear people talk about like I've been coming here since I was 5 with my family, and it's like so weird that it's like so crowded now. Not everyone would talk like that, but some people were just they would have the eye roll of like, oh, there's all these people here who
Yeah.
shouldn't be here. But the majority of people who I've met are just I'll tell you, I'll tell a story.
Okay.
So my trip there last year, uh, when you fly to the East Coast, you can fly into like a tiny little baby airport like Hyannis, which is near Cape Cod. Then you get on this tiny 8-person airplane,
Hmm.
and they have to like balance the weight and everything. So last time I was
Okay.
there, it was like this 18-year-old kid and these 2 Black women. One was named Tanya. I can't remember the other woman's name, but they had just met. And the other woman, it was her first time going to Martha's. The whole time on the plane, she was like, "Oh my god!" And then when we landed, she was like, "You better land that plane." It was just like joy from the beginning. And then we get off the plane, and Tanya was like, "Do you have a ride?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "I'll drive you. Where are you going?" I'm like, "Ah, thank you." And then we ended up hanging out like the whole week. I met her for breakfast. She was like an amazing producer. She like manages tours. She was little Kim's like show manager and told me all these wild stories. I'm like, see, this is what's up. We, this is what's up. This is what you get to do on Martha's Vineyard. As soon as you get there, like you're amongst cousins and family. And yeah, sure, you may run into a few people here and there who are like, this is my island, but most of the people are just there to meet, and they're there to like support you and help you out. Like, how can I help you?
Yeah, I was actually connecting with an investor a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, "Hey, listen, just go out there, do your thing." It's very much like what you described. They're like, "Listen, make sure you pull up to church. You a church girly. Go to church. They're going to have guest preachers, but after that, they're going to invite you to some fish fry, and after that, they're going to invite you to somebody's house. And look, it's not going to be creepy, okay? Just go." And then they're going to be your friends for the rest of the year. meaning you got access to them for the rest of the year. Now, past that year, good, goodbye.
Good
But,
luck.
that's how deals are done. That's how people are looking out for folks. And, you know, they're just happy to see, people doing good work. Um, and there's a lot of trust, like immediate trust. It's like almost like when you hit the vineyard, supposedly, allegedly, people just have that familial type of trust
Yeah.
with one another.
Everyone's just so excited to be there in in all blackness. It just like emanates. You're like, oh, it's so nice. So I can't wait.
Mhm.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. A lot
Yeah.
of fun.
I'm gonna
And
be
I
working,
can,
y'all. I'm gonna be working, but I definitely want to have fun too. I enjoy the work that I do. I enjoy connecting with folks and seeing all my people, but also meeting new people. So that's gonna be fun. But also I'm gonna be working. But goals, levels to this. I want to
yes.
eventually be able to just go with my family, darling, and then have my young two boys talk like this
Yes.
and say, "Oh, yes, my friends for the summer in the vineyard."
My goals too. This is the first year where I'm bringing my kids for the first week. And, my dad says black people come in dark light and damn near white. And my kids are on the damn near white side. And I was like, listen, if there's any place I would allow you to get braids, this would be the place. Because there are so many light skinned people who I'm like, I know damn well the rest of the year you ain't wearing braids. When you come here, you got those goddess braids
Oh,
going, and I'm so here for this. So here for it.
okay.
I'm excited to
The
see
goddess
what the hair
braids, the
trends.
throwbacks. Okay. So do you know how to cornrow, Mandy?
I do.
Okay.
I used to cornrow my own hair.
Good job. I'm
Thanks.
gonna
Back in
see
my water polo
something.
days. When I played water polo, I'd be like, I need to protect my hair. So I'd be
All right. Well, make sure they're not loose now. They gotta be tight.
no, 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 no,
Okay.
no, no. But let's talk more about community in general. We talked to a community builder yesterday, and
Hmm.
you and I are so lucky and have worked really hard to get to the point where we can work within community spaces as our 9 to 5. And you and I have a unique perspective, I think, because we are in community all the time, so it's not as novel to us. Like we work in the community space, whereas for a lot of people, it is novel. Like I don't know if you've probably been to Black Tech Week and see the people for whom it's their only maybe first time around other professionals who are also Black and brown, and the joy. Whereas for us, like I have to remind myself when I'm in those spaces that it is such a privilege to be in this the majority of the time. So I'm curious to hear from you, um, what your experience has been in terms of building wealth through
Yeah. Well,
community.
first of all, you mentioned Black Tech Week. Shout out to
Mm.
Black Tech Week and the
Brian and
Burkini.
Candace, yeah,
Yeah, that's happening this week right
hmm,
now.
that's right. As we speak.
So yeah, I had a chance to experience Black Tech Week maybe 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years. And I think it's absolutely necessary for communities to have spaces where they can see themselves, but also um, where they can access a level of like, uh, I can tap into my authentic self, and I may not be able to do that in a corporate setting if you're a technologist, or maybe if you're a founder and you're moving in different spaces. You'll be surprised how many folks don't have the don't have their own agency to show up for themselves because of because of fear,
Hmm.
right? And so when you go into these spaces, you can let your guard down. And by doing so, you're able to receive so much more than just the education and the context, but like your cup is full. And so really again, like shout out to Black Tech Week and the work that they've been doing with that.
Yeah.
And even seeing the people come in, like when you roll up to Black Tech Week, is like energy, it's family reunion, it's all the vibes. Um, Not tech related, but just community related, as the co-creator of the Assembly of Black Possibilities with Boston
Another one.
Ujima. Yeah, like that was what it was for. It
Mhm.
was on that FUBU type time.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And it was really important for me at the time to create a space for Black impact investors and folks working in the impact ecosystem, to show up at a conference and they're not the only one there. And
Yeah.
by that, a lot of the times I was at that time talking about like when you have your Black impact investors in the space that are moving and grooving, or financial advisors, et cetera. It's not very many of us, right? So
Mhm.
you're invited to speak and you're like one of three, maybe,
Mhm.
right? And so I remember one of the outcomes of our first assembly was, you know, speakers saying, "Oh my gosh, I've never in my life been able to be so transparent on a panel. I never in my life was able to go to like an impact investing centered space where like all my people were there. Not just the audience, but like your peers
Mhm.
as well."
And it's one thing
Which
to
I think
go
is
to,
critical.
yeah, it's one thing to like go to Afrotech and Black Tech Week, where there are these massive conferences, massive, and a lot of the speakers are very high profile, which is great. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just so different. And then when you can be in a space where you're with like your actual peers who you work with day to day, because also being in impact investing and community building and advisory, it can be really isolating. Like I
Mhm.
sometimes like I feel like most of my friends don't live in where I live. I feel like a few, like there's a group of 5 of us in Marin County, which is north of San Francisco, and we like meet up for lunch once a quarter. That's it though.
Yeah.
And so it's hard unless you are making an effort. So yeah, but it makes me think about like the ways in which, so like it makes me want to talk about, for those who are like new to the conference space or new to, or a little bit earlier in their career, who are in majority white spaces, who are trying to like figure out how to be, how to act. It's not easy. I went through a tough time, and you go through that like pet to threat thing when you were talking earlier about like you can really let your guard down. There's like two things that can happen to you in the workplace. You can be your authentic self and say things that people don't understand, that only your people understand, and they think it's like cute. Like, oh, it's a Black girl saying, like, we have a Black person on our team. It's so great. But then, like, when you start to really perform and potentially threaten people, like, those jokes are not jokes, but you being your authentic self isn't the same. And when you go to conferences, like, I'm trying to be as specific as possible. Like, that's what I mean when you go to conferences. You can you can say all the things you want to say, and no one is going to put you in a black box or a brown box, because everyone is there. Everyone's going to assume you're professional. But and there
Mhm.
is there are some things that we could probably impart through experience around showing up in our communities, um, and getting the most out of them, because you were talking about goals around Martha's Vineyard. And for anyone, no matter where they are in the career, when you're going to conferences, if you get to go to a conference, there's a lot of things you could be thinking about to get the most out of them. What
Yeah.
has been, what have you learned through the conference here? Like, how do you need to show up, protect your peace, all of those things? There goes my
Yeah,
camera.
well, it's funny that we're talking about this because I actually recently did an interview with her slab, and we talked about like how are folks showing up at conferences? What do you need to do before the badge? And so one of the things that I talked to
Before the
them
badge.
about, yeah, was just do some level of check in with yourself. Like what do you want out of this? What is your ROI? And then also do some research. So I love to look at the conference apps, see who's going to be there. Sometimes there isn't a conference app. we're, going to MV. It's not necessarily a conference, but it's just a mecca for networking.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, you want to look at who are some of the speakers. You want to go on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm going to be at this conference. Drop a like or a comment if you're going to be there. Also, think about how you can build content around that beforehand. We're living in a
Yes.
world of like social media and algorithms. And so, one of the things you can do beyond just saying, hey, who all going to be there on LinkedIn, you can talk about transparently, hey, I'm coming to this conference. Here's the session that I'm looking forward to seeing. Here are the speakers that I would love to hear from, potentially meet. If there's any side events happening, tag me in, let me know. Um, that is something that I think people can do before they even get to a conference. And this is good for many different reasons. Number one, you are going to have a sense of like who you're looking for and like who, in case you happen to meet them, you'll be ready, you know?
Mm-hmm. Because you could be so
Yeah.
excited that you forget.
Yeah. You'll be like, oh, wait, what's her, so it's just like, hey, actually, I really I see you have a session coming up,
Yeah.
in net tomorrow, and it's on my list to go to, or I went to your
Mm-hmm.
session before, or, I've come across your information, and all of that. And so that's good. But also when you start to get into like the content creation of it all, if you're tagging certain speakers and things like that, they may engage with you. And that's like a direct line in. And so from my days being
Mm.
in the courting space again, how we
I'm
met
taking
and,
notes.
trying to
Mm-hmm.
connect with investors and stuff like that. It always started on LinkedIn, which is why I always keep that premium access going. Because you can send a message, maybe somebody actually liked your post based on this speaker conference, or someone reposts you, or a speaker engages in a comment. That's a great like intro for like, hey, I'm going to be here, would love to have a 15-minute coffee, whatever the case is, or shoot your shot. That's
Mm-hmm.
there. And
Or
I
like,
don't
let's
think
meet at the
people.
lunch buffet.
Right. But when I was in the, space kind of sales and stuff like that, trying to get new investor members, you know, it's always like, how can you figure out who's going to be there? But also, how can you engage with individuals? Like, how can
Right.
you get like a first line? So, I highly recommend leveraging LinkedIn before you get to the event. And you can, again, you can do that from just letting people know you're going to be there, or you can have a whole content marketing plan around it.
Mm-hmm. And what I like how about what you're saying, Sharnay, is you're not giving people like, oh, there's only one way. You're like, if you're more of a content girly, tag people in all of your content. If you're more of like strategy, let me reach out to people individually on LinkedIn, you can do that too. And I think I used to work with a lot of engineers and who gave me a lot of great tips around networking because they're all introverts
Mhm.
and all socially awkward. They would say things like, I would make a list of people that I needed to talk to, and I would literally just go down that list. And when I went down that list, I could go home.
Oh my goodness.
But like it worked. It worked for those people because
Mhm.
they know that like the first part is like you have to know yourself. If you know, like me, I'm so extroverted and I get so engaged in conversations when I'm in conferences that I forget that I needed to meet 5 other people. And so I've had to give myself grace and prepare to be like, I need to reach out to these people, tell them I want to see them, but if I don't, I want to schedule time so that no matter what you're doing at the conference, no matter what you get into, you're still like setting yourself up for success. And
Mhm.
something that I also wanted to say is you have to set the right expectations for yourself because there's always so much going on and you have to give yourself the space for surprise. You have to like be in the moment
Hmm.
sometimes and allow yourself to be like, oh, I think I want to go to this session, not that one. because you may find that when you're at these conferences that something perks your interest that you hadn't thought of before, or a career path that you hadn't thought of before if you're at something big like Afrotech. And so you're just not going to get time to talk to absolutely everyone.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed about you, Mandy, when you go to conferences, you're definitely hitting up all the sessions and you have your tiny little notebook out and she's writing like font size 0.2.
I don't want anyone reading my
So
stuff, it's private.
okay, dear diary. I'm at session such and such. But anyway, we love to see it. It's great. That's also a really great strategy when you go to conferences, is to, like, make sure that you are taking notes, make sure you're taking notes, make sure that you are paying attention, capturing names. Maybe it's a quote that you want to like refer to when you're on a podcast or on another panel, or maybe it's something that if you do run into them, you can like follow up, like, oh, you said this thing.
Yes.
um but one other thing, so we talked a little bit about like before you get to the conference,
Before the badge, babies.
before the badge. But when I was recently interviewed, I talked to her slab about when you get there and you actually meet folks. People know I'm like an extrovert, social, like no stranger type of person.
Indeed.
But not everyone's like that.
Nope.
And also for people who are, similar to me, I think it's terrible when we show up and when we lead with extraction.
Yes, queen.
And, I'm always talking about, I don't want to be extractive. Let's change our terminology. So I try to check myself about that, because I've been in so many situations and scenarios where it just feels draining. That, do you really want to connect with me, or do you want something? And if you want something, let's just get to it. So what I do, really, just because I'm a giver and I'm a cool person like that, but I like to get to know who I'm talking to, and I also like to show value right away. I like to be able to say, hey, oh, if we talk about what this other person is working on, maybe I know somebody that I can connect them, or at least keep my ears out. I'm an ecosystem builder. And so oftentimes, even if it's not in my space, I know people that are, in the same industry or working on similar projects, or even if they're totally different sectors, you just are two good humans and should know each other.
Indeed.
Then I'm going to offer that in that moment.
Yep.
Also, if I say I'm going to offer something, I try to speed it up.
Yep.
So I try to make sure I actually not just talk about it, but I be about it. And again, because I found that like when I'm conversing with folks and connecting with people, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to introduce you or do that or do that. And it never happens. And what I appreciate the most are people, one person, like my colleague and friend, Mr. Wilson, he will text immediately. Like, we're having a conversation before we're even done the conversation. Like, boom, I already put you in a text chat.
Because he knows he's gonna forget.
Such and such and such. And I'm like, I'm not that quick with it, but I aspire to be that efficient.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's also refreshing for the other person when they connect with someone that has something to like offer or like lean in with, versus just like, hey, what you got, what you got.
Yep. It's so true. And I'm the person too, because I know that I will forget. So if I don't send an email right away while I'm talking to you, this ADHD brain, whew, that to say that I so appreciate when people will ping me later, be like, don't forget to introduce me to so-and-so. Because if someone says they're going to do it, they want to do it. They're not, I mean, most of the time. Most of the time.
I don't know.
But for me, if y'all know me and I tell you I'm going to introduce you to someone, please follow up, because I honestly just forget. I have someone who's emailed me 3 times, like, are you going to introduce me to so-and-so? I'm like, yes, I will. But I need a blurb from you. And that's so important, because so much of the work journey happens after the conference when it comes to building relationships with people, that's the follow-up it's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Let's, did you want to say something before I pivot just a little bit?
Well, also too, I think again, like just leading with a sales hat from my sales trauma days, I would say, we're talking a lot about like building community and connections and trying to do that through something as simple as going to a conference or showing up at Martha's Vineyard. Um, that's great. But for me, I'll speak for myself, I love it when I can go to other ecosystems or go to other events in new spaces and really take stock of how those communities operate.
Yes.
So, recently we both went to um, Guardian Summit.
Hmm.
And
Amazing.
for me, the content was amazing. The connections, of course, were amazing. But the biggest takeaway for me was just the depth of love inside of their community.
Yeah,
Like everybody is supportive of the mission, but beyond lip service. Like there was a lot of emotion and just authenticity. And I appreciate that when I move in and out of different communities and ecosystems, you notice different cultures. And
absolutely.
so I try to pay attention to what makes up a great community where you have people that are sold out for you or your mission, your organizations, your founders, your stakeholders. When
Hmm.
everybody is marching at the same beat, but also when everybody's cheering each other on.
Yep, yep, yeah. And what so Guardians Out for Everyone, it is the main summit for an organization called Camelback Ventures. They invest in for-profit organizations, also nonprofit organizations, all who are within like the social enterprise. And what I always think about when I'm at conferences like this, where it's so topic specific, where I'm like with my people and I'm like so inspired, is I think about my older brother who is an ER nurse. And I'm like, if he were here, he would be losing his mind. Because it sometimes like the things that we are talking about and the language we use can sound so abstract. And we are like high level strategy people. And my brother always used to say, like, so are you gonna go to some meeting about a meeting about a meeting today? And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's the work I do. We're moving big boulders. And so I always try to put that in perspective of like, this community is not for everyone, and that's
Mm,
okay. And I like to spend a lot of time in engineering spaces, like Black engineering spaces, like NISBE, um,
yeah.
to see how people like that interact. And I feel like in those spaces, I get such a kick out of these very introverted engineers coming up to me and be like, "Hi, Mindy, I wanted to meet you," and it just gives me so much like joy around people who are engineers and are just not natural networkers, that they're really putting themselves out there and working on it. So I want to keep going back to like building community is such an important practice. And whether you're introverted or extroverted or omniverted, whatever, it's it's a skill that you really have to practice and you always get better at it.
Right. But also too, there's a community for everyone.
Indeed.
And that's the beauty of it. And if you haven't found your community yet, that's okay.
Keep
But
trying.
yes, keep trying. Just know that there's something out there. And speaking of Nesby, I went to one Nesby conference way back, and it
Hmm.
was in New Orleans
Mm.
that year. I used to actually work for a protein science association
Of course you did.
for a decade. Cause one thing about me, I'm a lifer. Like I really try. I really try. And so in any case, there for 10 years, and even though I wasn't hired to do their programming and events management and stuff, somehow, some way, I became the director of communications and events, and then interim managing director. But beyond getting to go to these like amazing global symposia and just, doing all the things, what I took away from that is that for those technical people and introverts, they all gather there and they're presenting their posters and their abstracts, and they're standing in line to talk to this professor and want to get into this particular lab or this particular industry. When I showed up as my authentic self of just like how I build community, they gravitated to me.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Such a good point.
oh my gosh, I was like a mama bear, and even people were calling me Dr. Robinson because they just assumed that I had a PhD. And I don't know if I corrected them every time, but yes. So we would be in Boston, San Diego, San Francisco. Dr. Robinson. Okay. Long story short, short story long.
I'm dead. Go
For
on. Yeah. You clean it up.
communities that, function with for very technical individuals and
Mm-hmm.
um introverts and stuff like that, I think there's a value when you have maybe at the staff level or just within the community, you have people that will nurture community building that, opens things up for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the next year, when we would meet again, they would be they would be like so much more comfortable. We had great relationships. I'm even friends still with people from that time because they were like, "You're so warm, you're so nice." I helped like make introductions for them. So like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's strategies and mechanisms in place that I think ecosystem builders can bring to those spaces just to help assist people meeting people and getting to like deep connections. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And I think that you can still experience the beauty of community even if you're not an extrovert.
Amen. Amen. Oh my God, Dr. Robinson. I like the funeral home owner. We got to put a doctor in front of Dr. R Dubs.
I could get a what is that?
A clipboard.
No, the doctorate that all the church people get. No shade.
No shade
No
whatsoever.
shade.
It
No
itself
shade.
is
Because
it's
I
a
might get one. Is
theology.
it
It's a theology,
divinity?
right?
I might get it because I am spirit filled.
You are
I'm
indeed.
spirit filled. So,
Indeed. And you be studying the Bible too. You don't just like,
absolutely. I went to Bible study last night
right?
because
I've called you.
I need the Lord. Oh, see, my phone was off because
Yep.
I was at Bible study and I got to get that midweek. Even my son last night, he was like, "Mom, raise your hand. You have a testimony. Tell them what you're going through right now." I said, "Boy, if you don't put my hand down, Delancey, if you don't put my hand down." He's like,
Um,
"Mom, go ahead."
wow. For everyone who doesn't know Charnay like I do, O Girl has around Christmas time a 6'4" black Jesus. No, not black Jesus, a black
No.
Santa. A black Santa standing in her living room. I believe he also says words, but his
Yes.
voice sounds like a white man, but his body is black. And it is good for you. I feel like I would be scared poopless walking through the living room at night, like if I had to get some water or something. They're like, ho, ho, ho.
Listen, the kids love it and it keeps them well behaved around that time.
I mean, even the fact that you could buy a black Santa, 6'4", however tall he is, from your no named because we're not getting paid hardware store.
Yes.
You just can't get that in California. Just don't be
Well,
happening.
just know that I am camping out at these stores when everything goes on clearance and the season. Okay. Yes.
You are not playing.
I'm not, but I digress. It's about community today, not Black Santas.
Or funeral homes. Or funeral homes. Okay, so this brings me to the topic that I really want to talk about. And shameless plug, I have a whole Substack like essay series on this around showing up to conferences and all the stuff that we just talked about, but also like how you take care of yourself at conferences.
Mm.
Particularly as extroverts, we forget sometimes, or I'll speak for myself, I forget sometimes to take care of myself, and it's taken me years to the point where I used to have like event after event after event after event, and like would come into my hotel, and we extroverts, like, it takes so long to like settle down. Like, I can be so amped up that I would just exhaust myself, and I wouldn't pay attention during the day to like how much water I was drinking, if I was tired, if I still had
Mhm.
work to do. So I'd love to hear from you, and I can share too around like some of your rituals when it comes to like what you wear, um, how like what kind of shoes you wear, all of those things for us girlies. It's a thing. I know
It's a
people who wear
thing.
earplugs
Wow.
because they're
Okay.
like sensitive to sound. Like, there's a lot of things that we do. But what are some of your rituals?
So for me, I'm trying to pack things that I don't have to iron.
Mhm.
And I'm ever since I became a mama, they got to be flats. So I'm not out here strutting it like you, but a lot of the other girlies, they don't have to do the flats. I love a good flat. I invest in flats, and hopefully Stephanie doesn't come get me because I love a designer flat.
Stephanie likes to wear her
But
pumps.
yes, I
Mhm.
imagine so.
And
Uh,
for the
but
record, Charnay's 5 feet tall, and she wears flats,
yes.
and I'm 5'9", and I'd be wearing 4-inch heels at conferences just for fun.
Everybody's like, "Hey."
Mostly just you because you're in flats.
Oh my goodness. But hey, so I would like to give a shout out to Afrotech,
Oh yeah.
because a couple of years ago, Afrotech started offering in their business ticket holder package or corporate ticket holder package access to IV hydration during the conference.
Shout out to Erin. Shout out to
And
Morgan. Hope you're all doing
yeah,
well.
um, love all of the things that Morgan is building over there. But when I saw that, I was like, they're onto something because of everything you just mentioned. You are probably going from event to event. You may be going to too many happy hours or
Indeed.
side events. And I
Mhm.
won't say what happens at those things, but you may need to be replenished on hydration, whether you drink or not, just moving about. Also, you're going in and out of airports, you're around a lot of people and a lot of germs. It's great for immunity boosts as well as hydration. And so I really appreciated them having that service there,
Mhm.
by a Black owned IV hydration company. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, um, it's like Royal something, but
Mhm.
they're based in Texas. I know you're in Texas right now,
Ooh.
so maybe see if there's something there. Um, but also going to do another shameless plug in case anybody wants to do IV hydration at their next conference or event,
Spill it.
or after you attend something,
Mhm.
hop on over to Turnersville, New Jersey at Liquid Love IV Infusion Spa. Okay.
Let's go.
Because you can get that. And I think it's really important that we listen to our bodies. For people that are like you, Mandy, who are just always in someone's airport, at someone's conference. It's important that you find time to like take care of yourself. I love IV infusion. Personally, it may not be everybody's thing, but a lot of times, especially like Liquid Love, they have mobile services too.
Mhm.
So based on the conference that you're at, you can call up a mobile service. They can come to your hotel, or you could go to their place and just check in on yourself. And it's 30 to 1 hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Why
So
not?
let's say you don't have IV budget, IV drip budget, because it's like 200 a pop, right?
Well, at Liquid Love IV Infusion,
Mm.
they have great prices, but also you can ask for like mini. A lot of people don't know, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to save a coin. You can ask for a mini drip. The mini drip
Mm,
is great not only to save money, but also to save time because you might not like want to give a whole hour of your time. You just have 30 minutes. You can do
yeah.
that. You can also get like a shot. They have a lot of like shot options. But if you can't afford that, there's nothing wrong with that Immune C or whatever those powder
Emer-
packets are. Emergency. Who knows?
Charnay.
I don't
For
get
someone who
paid for this
pretends they're
season.
not bougie, girl.
But you know what? I don't use those anymore. Quite frankly, I like the IV
Liquid IV.
hydration packs.
Yes, I mess with those. I will go on Amazon and get whatever one they have that's sugar free that has the lowest price per package, and I'll buy. That's how I be budgeting, and I will pound those all day. I don't care if my face gets to like be this puffy because of all the salt that's in them. Like I want to be go into the bathroom because this stuff is just like flowing through me all day. That's how I know I'm hydrated. And
Mm.
I've been inside airports a lot, and staying hydrated is so important. And you were mentioning something earlier about the after parties, and if you are a drinker or if you're younger and you like to have a good time, this is a really important place where you have to be thoughtful. Because for me, as I got older, um, one, you want to be in control because you are working, you're still working, and you have to know how much is too much for you so that you don't embarrass yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if I'm drinking, I will usually have, I don't order what I normally would order. I would get like a shot of tequila and just sip on it. Sip
Oh,
on
you
that the
still doing
whole night.
shots though.
Oh no,
Okay.
but like I'll just have them pour me some tequila neat, and just like let it touch the lips every few minutes so that I'm getting something, but like I'm just nursing it. And the other hand has water in it. And because for me, if I drink more than two, like in in quick order, then I'm gonna have a headache the next day, no matter what. So
Mm.
I have a different or if I'm like in Miami or in Las Vegas, where I'm like, I'm not gonna have as much water. Gotta be really careful. What are some things that you change up in like the social settings, like from conference to
Yeah.
social?
I'm not a big drinker in general, so it's easy for me to
Yeah,
like
same.
everybody knows me, like I'll nurse something all night long. But in general, like let's say they have my favorite drink or like a
Mhm.
French 75. Um, I only like my maximum for the entire night is two
Same.
drinks maximum. And honestly, I can nurse one forever and ever and ever. Um, but I don't need drinks to like have a great time, be social. Some people need it to like relax, take the edge
Mhm.
off. Um, I would say the one thing that I switch up when I go to a conference versus a social setting, um, believe it or not, I try to like be a little bit more chill than I normally
Mm.
would be. And most people be like, girl,
'Cause you like to be outside?
because I'm always just like talking to people, boo, 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 boo. But
Mm.
when I'm in new spaces, particularly business spaces, I do have more of like a reserve level. Like I'm trying to assess the space I am in, the room I'm in, but also I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to absorb.
Mhm.
So it's less about me doing all of this and more so about like me understanding what types of conversations are, taking place, how are people leaning into the work, what dynamics, you know, am I seeing? You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? Like
mhm. Yep, absolutely.
that's usually and then once I know it's like a safe space or I've been around you for some time and like cool. But I do kind of initially stay on the shallow side of the pool. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
I do. And I'm always trying to plug our introverts here. A lot of times introverts can overtalk in new situations, And so being thoughtful around all of these things, and y'all don't get overwhelmed about what we're talking about. We've been in the game for a minute. Like Trinae and I've been twirling for a long time. And we weren't always this good at it. It took time, right?
Yeah, I remember being really nervous in new spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember like thinking, oh, am I going to say the same? Like, am I going to say this wrong? Or, am I going to look like I don't know what I'm talking about? And what I learned is similar to what you always say about what the Obamas had said before, you'd be surprised what's going on. But I think it's okay to not know everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to have a learning lesson in a moment. It's okay not to like lead every conversation. I often tell my mentees that are much younger to just have a speaker kit ready, like a conversation kit ready. And it's actually something that I'm going to prep my kids with. Like I have an
Yo.
8-year-old and I kind of like started a little bit this weekend actually, or last weekend, excuse me. So with my son, my oldest son, he's 8, I was just like, what are you going to talk about when people ask you what do you like, what are you into? I said, don't be looking all around, get eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what it is that you're into. Okay, I said, well, this is how you say it. If someone asks you, how you doing? How are you? I want you to say, I'm well. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, he's like, what is, and I'm just like, so when we were out and, it was happening, he was doing his thing. But then one time someone asked him and he was like, I'm good. And he was like, Mom, that only happened once. I'll say well next time. But I'm like, you're not supposed to say that in front of the person.
Right.
Don't out me. Okay. But I'm
Yeah.
just sharing for the adults out there. It is okay to have your safe list of conversational questions and prompts that will help you feel good navigating through a new space, a new conversation, and just opening up to a stranger, especially when you go to those like conferences and they make you do those awkward icebreakers, like talk to the person next to you and ask them blah, 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 blah. I personally don't like them myself, and I'm an
Don't love.
extrovert,
Don't love. It's like I came here to listen to y'all. Don't make me work for this.
you know?
But on the young people thing, I bring my kids almost everywhere and we practice. I'm like, I want you to go up to that person and I want you to like get into the conversation. Don't take up space because my youngest or my oldest can pass as a white man when he's older. And I'm like, you need to know that as a white man, you're gonna default to taking up space. So I want you to go into this conversation, wait for your turn, and then maybe ask a question that's relevant. And watching young people do these things at early, I'm like, oh, you're gonna be sick. By the time you get
Yes.
to high school, college, go to these conferences, like you're gonna be in your white linen, you know, doing all the things. And it has to start early and it takes practice.
Yep.
And before we end, because I can't believe every day when we do this, there's only four, like we get to this point, I'm like, how did it pass so fast? For people who are hearing this who like maybe haven't been to conferences before but want to expand, what are like the top 3 things that you're like, these are the things you need to do before you get there? You talked about having your speaking list or your topic list. You can probably find those on ChatGPT. Help it or have ChatGPT help you narrow down your niche. We could talk about that next time. But yeah, what are some of the things that you want people to do?
I want people to do their research on who's going to be there, pick out their top 3 people of like, I would love to meet, connect, and sometimes understand that someone else can connect you to them, even if you actually don't meet that person yourself
Mm-hmm.
at that time. I also want you to make sure that you are leveraging LinkedIn. You don't need premium like me, but you do need to go on there and let people know, hey, I'm going to be outside. Say, let them know you'll be at the conference and you would love to know what side events are happening, who would like to, take a quick 15-minute coffee or something like that or lunch. And then finally, I want you to do a assessment like post-conference.
Mhm.
An assessment for yourself, not something that you're going to share with everyone else. I don't know if your job is paying for you to go to this conference or if you're paying for it out of your own pocket, but you should also have some clear goals and assessments of like, what did I learn about myself? What did I learn from this conference? What contacts did I make? How am I like what are the next steps with those contacts? Um, just have that ready and create a routine for yourself every time you go to a conference, whether it's once a year you only go to a conference or if you're hitting the circuit like Mandy.
Yeah. Thank you. I would add stay hydrated, listen to your body, and know that you don't have to be talking to people all the time. As a flaming extrovert, when it's like lunchtime or break time, I sometimes sit by myself and let people come to me because it just kind of takes the pressure off. So doing things that, you know, you may think will make you look awkward or maybe bring up or triggering things from probably middle school, that's okay. Just know that like you're not 12 and in middle school, you're in like a professional place and you can just be yourself. Professionally, be yourself. Um, and yeah, also take the time to listen. Like conferences have such great speakers. There's so many things that you can pick up from those. I want to say one more thing. If you are going in the capacity for your organization to recruit for your organization, like if you're going to Afrotech and you're at one of the booths, double down on the hydration. Double down on the hydration because you're going to be talking to people all day. And you are there indeed to recruit and just have fun with it. And also, don't forget to go to the other booths, you know, and figure out how they're recruiting. If you're looking for something else, you got to keep that Rolodex hot. Keep that Rolodex hot. So make the most out of your time, get rest, and just try to be in the moment if possible.
Yeah, spoken like a real yogi.
Listen, and maybe bring a mat or hit up a yoga class while you're there. This has been so great. I could do this again. Love,
Well,
I know that you're off stage, but did you have any questions before we end? Go ahead, Charnay.
we will be doing this again.
We will.
So you're in luck.
Yeah. Charnay, did you have any questions? I know you're backstage.
I don't have any questions for the people, but I
Charnay
do
has, or
hope
Love
that.
has no questions. Wait,
Oh,
what?
cool. Let's
Love
see.
has no questions. Okay, got it. Charnay, sorry, did you have a question?
Oh, I was just saying that we'll see everybody next week, same place, same time.
I'll be back in Marin for a couple seconds. And then in August, catch Charnay and me for a few episodes live from the Vineyard Bibbies.
See, I learned something new today. I didn't even know.
We will be there. All right, y'all. See you next Tuesday. Have a good weekend.
Bye.